Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Labs Garage. When I first decided about a year and a half or so ago that I wanted to start a YouTube channel, the big thing I wanted to revolve it around was revival. Now it's kind of turned into more of a repair channel, and that's because revivals can take up a lot of room, they can get to be expensive, and heck, it's a lot of work when you're doing this on the side. So anyway, I'll take a revival pretty much any way I can get it. So we have here today a revival, a John Deere 318 that has not been started in 20 years. And we're going to see if we can't get it fired back up and cut some grass with it. This all work well. Me and small engines have never gotten along. Great. Hey y'all, my name's Aaron and I'm a car addict. And these are my assistants, Caroline and Nellie. Together, we are Two Labs Garage. We're a car YouTube channel. We love old cars. We love old trucks. We go to events, shows, drives. We do repairs, maintenance, budget bills. Let you in on some of my tips and tricks I've learned over the years. And when we get the chance, we revive them. So come join us here at Two Labs Garage, where we're going to have fun putting old relics like this back on the road on a budget, and most importantly all, we're just going to have fun with old cars. So why am I doing a revival on a John Deere lawn tractor? Well, a couple reasons. One, it was given to me. Two, this was my mother-in-law's. And she replaced this 20 years ago with a zero-turn Toro mower. Well, that zero-turn Toro mower has a rod knock and is going to blow at any second. Now, being these things are expensive when we're trying to figure out what the best course of action is, she's borrowed our mower, but I got the little John Deere 318. I'm going to see if I can't put this back into service. I actually feel like I can make it happen. She doesn't think I can. From what I was told, we believe that this one had some ignition problems. That's what she told me, and that's why it got replaced. This was many years before I came into the picture, so I never got a chance to look at it. But if it's just an ignition problem, I'm confident we can start this. Alright, so I'll walk y'all around the John Deere real quick. When I picked it up, I had to inflate 3 of the tires. The back one over there, that one actually was still holding air after 20 years. But we're missing a few things up here, but it should be alright. We don't have to have a grill, but we got good access to the crank snout. Looks like we got horizontally opposed 2-cylinder engine. Some 10W, we don't even know what. But overall, it looks fairly maintained. You can see the belt down there has hardly any wear. Same with that belt. Turf Chief tires. Alright. As we can see, the tires on this side are not holding air. That's alright. This looks like it's actually a lawn tractor. I know that's a term that gets used generically for a riding lawnmower. But this, from what I can tell, with hydraulic attachments and all, I think you could put a front bucket on the back. You got hydraulic steering. This was a nice mower back in its day. My understanding is they sold these mowers, John Deere did, late 80s, early 90s. So, not sure what year this one is. We'll probably find out at some point. Seats. Overall, not bad shape. See, we got a little yellow duct tape here. Might have to see if I can't find another roll of yellow duct tape. If not, we'll just put black on it. It don't matter. We got some dirt dauber nests going on here. It looks like they've left. The fuel gauge is broken. The fuel gauge is broken. That's fine. See what's going on up under the hood. Hang on. That's not a lawn tractor battery. That's actually a car battery. Alright, February 04, so maybe it's been 19 years since it was run. Transoil, that's something I'm not accustomed to seeing on a lawn tractor. We got an hour meter. Oh, we had an hour meter. That's no good. But that's not too critical. And here we have an engine. And I'm thinking the best course of action I can have may be just to take all the cowling off the front. I don't really want to, but they don't look too bad. Lights, if we can get the lights to work, that'd be cool. If we can't, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see, what is this? I do believe that is PTO. We have a front and a rear. Wow. This is a nice tractor. Let's see what we got going on here. Whew! Daggone. That smells like, bad. Oh, here ain't sloshing. That's a good thing. So, also a plastic tank. Pretty good sized tank too, looking under there. Got a hydraulic ram for, I guess, some kind of rear attachments. This is a nice mower. Hang on. Glad I decided to use this thing for my horseless carriage replica. We're coming up on that, but don't know when. Might be years from now. So I'm going to kind of attack this like it was a car. First thing I want to do is make sure this engine isn't stuck. So, just shut the hood. Let's see what happens when we turn this. Don't like this clutch somehow. But we do have an engine that's turning. So, now, to figure out how to get electricity on this. A couple of things. First off, I kind of want to get this battery out of here. That positive wants to come right off. That's good. Negative. Negative. What is this anyway? That's 26 series. But you must. Yeah, we got a keeper on it. I'm not used to having those. Get back. You don't know me like that. Alright, just take that completely off the time being. Napa. And I got another battery to put in here. You can see how the hour meter got broken. Yeah. There's a very specific reason I picked this battery. Some of y'all watch some of the other shows probably think I'm talking about the Go handle here. I don't need that. The reason I chose this battery is because it was in my Thunderbird and I already had it. And I didn't have to spend money and get another one. If this mower turns into a runner, we'll just get another battery for the Thunderbird. Now let's just hope it's already charged. Ain't getting nothing. Great. Nothing. That's fantastic. Alright. Now let's see. I'm not sitting on it. Kill switch. Oh boy. I've done every safety thing I can think of. Now it's time to get busy. I guess I can see if any of the lights work. Nope. I bet back here they seem a little more intact. Nope. It's like we're not getting any power at all. So I guess first thing, let's make sure I put a decent battery in this. 12.42. Alright, I gotta figure out where it goes from here. Alright, time to get the cowling off. See if we can't figure out what's going on in here. Bring it. What you got, baby? Did you bring me? What you got? Nelly just brought me an extension cord. Oh, thank you, Nelly. Come on. Take a bow on the stage. Yes, that's a good girl. Can you go put it in the garage for me? Thank you. Caroline. Look right here. Look, look, look. See that? That is a mouse house. We have a mouse house in here.
I don't want her here.
Actually, Miss Nellie was right on point because I need that cord for the vacuum. Oh, what in the world? Maybe this. Get that grommet to go in. There we go. Inside of a carburetor, not looking bad. Outside, looking real bad. Alright, so my big thing right now is try to figure out where these electrical cables go. So for now, I'm just going to take the battery back out. Now, where do they go from here? Well, I'll take this cowl off too. Alright. Alright, so now I can see better. The red one comes around here, goes straight way up under here. And the black one goes, no one knows where the black one goes. Undoubtedly it grounds it, but where? Ah, it goes right here at the engine block. Alright, so we're off to a good start. I know where the cables go directly. I'm just having to figure out and understand how the solar ignition system works. You know, I think I want to raise this up some. Alright, so I got the front lifted up here, really so I could see what was going on down there. And well, it looks like if I have to change the starter, I'm gonna have to pull the engine. Hope not. Hope none of that's the case, but may as well see if we're getting power from the battery to down here. We are getting 12 volts to the starter. Or I should say getting 12 volts to the solenoid. Kind of looks like a little GM starter down here. I would bring the camera over and show you, but really there's not a whole lot of point. I can barely see it myself in my eyes. Alright, there's another smaller wire that comes off the battery. Goes under there. I'm going to see if I can't figure out where that goes. So again, pull this battery out. It does appear, at least for now, we do have some kind of ignition issue, which means I was told right. So I'm going to try to see if I can't trace the problem, figure out what's going on. I'll show you real quick what I got going on here. Up in here, to get access underneath the battery tray, well, kind of had to lift up the battery tray. Can't have the battery in there to test stuff. So to have a remote battery, I'm using some jumper cables. Hoping that will work all right. Keep them from colliding. I got a rag over the positive. Also, it keeps it from hitting the body of the mower. Right now, I really wish I knew where my head strap GoPro was. But the red battery cable comes down, goes to this thingamabob right here. Now, I don't know what the thingamabob is. But from there, two wires go out. Once they leave the thingamabob here, they go up into that bird's nest. A whole bunch of wires come right here to the back of the ignition switch. Now I'm thinking this could be bad. I don't know what the thingamabob is, and if I have to go order a thingamabob, I don't know what I'm going to call a thingamabob. But if that's bad, just figuring out what it is will be the hard part. If that's not it, then my next thing to do is unhook the ignition switch and see if I can't figure it out from there. And if that's not it, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. The first thing I want to do is I want to check, make sure that the jumper cables are getting my current up here. All right, so now I'm going to test the thingamabob and see if that's working. And if it is, great. If it's not, then we go into the ignition switch. 1242, all right? All right, so the thingamabob's good, which is cool. Now, I guess it's time to pull up the ignition switch and see what's going on there and see if I can't figure out this nonsense. The switch, it does things, and the good news is, I think AutoZone sells them. If not, I know West Marine does. I know they're a little pricey, but anyway, I'm sure I can get a mower switch somewhere local. Also, if it comes down to it, I can just put a toggle switch and a momentary on it, or get my Movo Lone Wolf 6000. We'll start this thing one way or another. 3/4 maybe. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the ignition switch. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is no good. Alright, so get y'all in here real quick. This tab here, this is the harness that goes on the back of the ignition switch, and that terminal right there is actually from the switch, and it is broke off in the harness, and that thing is rusted in there good. I'm currently trying to see if I can't figure out a way to get that out, but I've taken some linesman pliers and pulled on it, and it hasn't budged. So I'm going to try to come up with some way to get that out without stressing this wire. I'm hoping I'll have to actually change the harness. Oh, let's try this on for size. Got a pair of vice grips here holding the harness, and another one locked on pretty good to the tab. I'm hoping that will keep me from using my strength to hold stuff in place and keep tension on the pliers, and hopefully the pliers will allow me to just use my strength to pull. And it came right out. Alright, so yesterday evening I rode up to AutoZone with my switch, see if I could get a new one. Well, I found this, and it says replaces MTD, Poulan, Husqvarna, and others. Well, I am certainly hoping that John Deere counts as others, because it's not listed front or back. What I did, however, do is I looked at the configuration of the pins, both on the new switch and this one. And the cluster of pins right here appears to be the same. This one right here is over here on the new one. I'll show you in a minute. But that one's movable. That's not part of a harness. So I'm thinking this should work. Well, they got the same key. Take a gander at this. That snapped in perfectly. Now this. Now let me reattach the thingamabob, because I accidentally undid that the other night. So I'm going to get that hooked back up, and then I'm going to see if we get anything. I might also take out this hour meter, because it's obviously not working. Now I'm just kind of hoping right this minute that the switch does not ground through the body of a mower. I don't think it does, but I guess we're getting ready to find out. Nothing. Well, we got a new switch on, and the other one obviously was a problem. It doesn't work now that it's attached. Maybe a ground issue. No, but something's going on, because I can hear something. Something's clicking. So it is recognizing the switch. Where even is that one? Yep, right here. It ain't gonna start without that. Now the fun task of getting it back on the tab. It may be easy, it may not. May have to get some needle nose to reach down here. But I'm gonna try these linesman's pliers first. That feels like it might be on there. Let's give it a try. Still nothing. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is test this wire over here. I kind of slinked it back this way. Got it grounded. Other end in the terminal. See what happens. Nothing. Alright. I guess my next step is going to be retrace this wire. Figure out where it goes, how it hooks up, and what the devil may be going on. Alright, so I grabbed my phone, and I came over to this side, and I was just going to trace back the wire off camera. I touched this connector, and it fell right off. So, I'm thinking I may be on to something here. I hit myself in the face. That's going to leave a mark. Still nothing. Alright, so I went in there, I cleaned the terminals up. Now let's see what happens. Alright, you still getting power up here? Yep. Something just ain't right. Now I just gotta figure out what's not right. Now I've heard some of y'all screaming into your computers or phones or tablets, whatever you're watching this on, saying, "You dummy, it's got a switch under the seat. You gotta depress that switch or it ain't gonna run." Well, I took a roll of electrical tape and I have held that switch down. Something wrong. Alright, so I spent a little time last night going through this whole thing with my meter, checking voltages, checking continuity, and trying to figure out where this electrical problem stems from. And basically, I never quite figured it out. It's like one of the safety switches is not working, but every safety switch I can find tested good. So I tested a theory. I just jumped to placing the ignition, and the starter turned over. So that's a good sign. The thing is, I heard a bunch of other clicking, and I had wired straight battery, so I'm going to have to put an interrupter in there. What I'm effectively doing is backfeeding the circuits, and backfeeding circuits and not being able to turn them off bad. So anyway, see when I'm done. Also, last night I suspected the harness, so I cut it off and made a new one out of butt terminals. I've also went down there and I put a straight wire to the ignition. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to take that wire I made to the ignition, I'm going to put an interrupter in it. And here's what I'm referring to. Got me a toggle switch here, just simple on, off. I've wired a couple scrap pieces of wire I got around. I got this lug that's going to connect to the thingamabob, but I still don't know what it's called. And then this is going to go meet up with the other wires, which it would be backfeeding, at the ignition. Now, to keep it from draining the battery and doing stuff we don't want it to do while it's not running, just turn the switch off. And when you're ready to run, flip the switch on. It's just one extra step. I want to try to keep it as close to the correct, so there's really no monkey business, jerry rigging or anything like that going on. However, I have to be practical. I'm not an electric expert. So I came up with a solution that appears to work. So this is what I'm going to do. This should be fairly straightforward to anybody. Alright, so I picked a spot in here where it's accessible for me to get behind the switch, and also where I'm not going to interfere with anything else. So right about, let's say right there. Is that going to cause problems? I don't see any problems there. Now a Christmas tree bit. I do believe that's the right diameter. Yep, that's perfect. Alright, so yeah, just a little on-off right there. And we should be alright with that. Now, the wires I got in there, I may have to go into town. Well, I know I'm going to have to go into town. But I may have to pick up a yellow terminal, just because of the way that all these wires are. I think I'm going to need a yellow. I'll make a blue, will cut it. So again, I'll bring you in here, show you what I've done. Down here on the thingamabob, I've added another wire. That's that light blue one. Alright, so it goes to that toggle switch. From there it comes in this light blue wire into that terminal. And that yellow and green wire is placed to the two pink wires that would go into the original ignition switch when I replaced the harness. And I did it that way just because, well, after I cut the end off, I didn't have enough length. So anyway, let me hook that up, and hopefully then we'll be able to do something. Got everything hooked up now. Now we're going to do a test. So making some stuff happen. Unfortunately, I'm seeing this oil light up here on, which means that something's wrong. Again. Why is that doing that? I have unhooked that wire I made, and the light's still on. I hate to have to put another switch in here, but I might have to. Alright, so yesterday I had to quit working on this thing kind of early because my wife's alma mater, the College of Charleston, made the NCAA tournament this year. So I knocked off early so we could go to my mother-in-law's, watch the game, and they lost. Oh well, I'm just happy to have seen them actually make the tournament this year. Anyway, on the way back from that, I stopped and picked up this 30 amp switch from Avant. Remember yesterday I was having trouble with not being able to kill all power to it. Not exactly sure what caused that. Remember, I'm not an electrician by any stretch of the imagination. And Me and small engines don't have the best history. But my skill set's improved since the last time I messed with one, so I'm hoping for good things. Anyway, my basic plan now is I'm going to put a master switch right here. That's one I want, a 30 amp. My little 10 amp here I think is sufficient for throwing the starter relay. But I'm going to need a big one to do a master switch. And 30 amps ought to do it. I'll tell you one thing, they put some quality into the package. If the switch is anything like the package, I got a good switch. I noticed that the ones in the size I wanted had lights in them. And at first I saw red and I saw blue, and I think I even saw just plain white. So I was starting to try to decide what should I pick. My favorite color is blue, but especially outdoors that could be kind of hard to see. But then I looked a little more and I saw they had green. Well, I'm messing with a John Deere, it's got to be green. So I got a little green indicator on there. It might be silly, but I like it. Alright, so I took this red wire that went to the thingamabob and I unhooked it from the battery clamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a terminal on it and send it to that 30 amp switch. I also cut off another section of this green and yellow wire just because I have a lot of it and I believe it's 10 gauge. And I'm going to replace the wire that went to the thingamabob. I'm going to run this one to the battery terminal and to the constant power on the switch. So it'll just be one extra step, and that's one way I can kill all power to the mower in an instant. So anyway, that's my plan. Now, can I get away with a blue connector on this? Because I want the tightest fit I can, so if a blue will fit, I'll use it. If not, I got yellow in my hand. And yellow it will be. Alright, now I just want to reinforce my connections a little bit with some electrical tape, and then we'll start hooking stuff up. Alright, so I got the master switch installed, the solenoid switch installed, and the ignition. All of them are in. So let's see if my system works. Got a green light. That's a good sign. 2, turn that on. 3. I'd say it works. Got everything off now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reassemble this whole area because I think I'm done with the electrics. Then I can put the battery in without all the impedance of these old worn out jumper cables. And we'll get a little more speed. Hopefully when I crank it, we can start seeing if we can't figure out what's going on with this engine. Alright, so I got this cover back installed. Battery tray back installed. Battery back in it. I don't have a tie down on it yet, but that's not my chief concern right now. Now let's just see if the little system still works. Oh yeah, she works. Now normally I check for spark, but I'm excited. So I think I might just go straight to dumping some gas in it. Alright, before I get too carried away, I can't remember if I checked the oil or not, so do not remove when running. Well, I'm not. So what we got going on here. Nasty, do not overfill, and it is severely overfilled. Yeah. If this works, I'm going to be changing the oil, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. It's got some lubrication if it fires. And for gas, got last year's boat gas. Yeah, you're right. That's a ketchup bottle from the dollar store. See what happens. Up, up. Choke out. She's trying. Oops. Helps if I take the cap off. She wants to run. God, she wants to run. Been a long time, hasn't it, girl? I'm gonna go ahead and put some fuel in the tank, because that may be part of what's going on. Real quick, so my cap and this doesn't pollute the tank, I'm just gonna zing it off. All it needs a cap. Alright, so let's give it one more try. I've gone ahead and taken my ketchup jug and filled the filter up, gotten the line and the bowl filled up. Trying to make sure I get that fuel pump primed, because I got some reservations about it. Well, that's fantastic. That's good news and bad news, though. Good news is we can clearly see it runs and appears to run pretty good. Bad news is my filter is dry, and so my fuel pump is bad. Oh boy, I was hoping I wouldn't have to go through all that, but evidently I am. So let me figure out how I'm going to solve this issue here, and I'll get back with you. Alright, so one thing I want to try to do real quick is I'm going to take my air nozzle, I'm going to go blow backwards through the line just to make sure that's not the problem. Pretty sure it's not, but I'd rather just be sure. Give me that back. So the other thing I want to do real quick, I'm going to air up the tires on the other side, try and make this thing sit level. I'm going to let the fuel pump try one more time. If it don't work this time, we're going electric. Alright, so I squirt a little gas down the line. I've squirt some in here, I squirt some in the pump. We're just going to see. I expect I might see a little fly out the top of the pump, but it's can it maintain pumpage. Give it a shot. Why not? It looks like it may have done something. Alright, so we got a new fuel filter, and I've primed these lines again. We're going to give it a shot. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to try. Got my ketchup bottle here, bottle feed it. Where is it? 1, 2. Nasty. And she definitely need an oil change. See, what kind of filter is this? Briggs, Toro, John Deere. Don't see a brand anywhere on it. Yuck. Alright, so I'm replacing the filter with a Napa Gold because I didn't have any Napa regulars. This is the same thing as a Wix. You can cross-reference the filters on these small engines and get a regular automotive one for significantly less. A lot of times you can just look up a 98 Saturn, but I would recommend you cross-reference whatever mower you have, but you can save a lot of money by getting the automotive equivalent. This Napa Gold was significantly cheaper than the John Deere. Like I said, it's made by Wix. You're not skimping on quality at all. Now I gotta figure out where the oil drain is. I think this might be it. If it is, how the devil do I get it out? What in the world? I just say never. Well, how is this supposed to work? Well, for Pete's sake. Oh boy, research time. This is incorrect. I've done the research so you don't have to. Turns out that what I'm seeing in there, plug, looks like a T if there is a T. And that's going to create a drainage issue. But anyway, there's a valve in there you're supposed to be able to grab with pliers. And my channel locks are not doing it. So I may have to look for some other kind of pliers, and I need to figure out what to do about this drain. They don't make it easy. Well, as we can see, it's getting late on me out here. But I tried a variety of tools, and what I came up with that actually was able to budge this thing was needle nose vice grips. And I really had them twisted to get it to finally budge. I'm hoping this is just because it hadn't been serviced in over 20 years. I also found an old busted piece of garden hose that I put on the drain that hopefully will direct the old oil into the pan. I appreciate the thought behind this design. I do. But I prefer just an old-fashioned plug. I may make some tools for this in the future, but for now, this is for the birds. There's a pawn shop up the road from me. They got a 50-cent bin of socket. What I'm kind of thinking right now is go get one of them for future oil changes and take my grinder and cut a slot in it. That way I can put that over top and use a socket wrench for this. This is not the worst design I've ever seen, but it makes the conversation. I'll like it. Yeah. Now I'm just going to let that drain. Unfortunately, it looks like nighttime's going to catch me. And that's sad, but we know this thing runs. And this is going to make a decent mower. I might even use it as my own frontline mower and use my existing one as a backup. Who knows? Alright, so that oil drain valve, me putting the vice grips on it, making a half turn, taking them off, unlocking them, locking them back on, making another half. Yeah, that garbage just gets old quick. So this morning, by the way, last night it got dark before the oil quit draining. I went and looked in my socket drawer, and I picked out a 9mm, which is a size I don't use much, made in Taiwan. Just not one of my better sockets, one that, let's just say I wouldn't miss it. And here it is, and I took my grinder and I cut this notch in it. And that notch will go over the T and hopefully be a whole lot quicker for me to operate that valve. Give it a try. Pete's sake, where is my 1/4-inch ratchet? Oh, it's in my pocket. Got nobody to be mad but myself there. Man, I'm happy. Now the big thing's to not lose this. I might zip tie it to the frame or something right there where I can get to it next time. For oil, I read some conflicting reports about what this thing's supposed to have in it. So I'm playing it safe by going to my go-to type of oil for all my old cars and such, because hey, it's certainly not going to hurt it. And that's 15W40 diesel oil. Day I went and picked up the filter. This was on sale. So yeah, this is what I'm going to use. Has the zinc and all that stuff in it. Dollar store funnels. They're surprisingly good. Alright. Another thing about this nap oil I just found out reading the label. Made by Valvoline. I think these things take 1.2 quarts. I'm not sure. A little more. That should do it, hopefully. That looks about right. Just over top the hashes, but with a horizontal oil filter, it's real hard to preload them, so once the oil filter gets filled up, that'll equal out to being right. Now, trans oil only. Yeah. No dipstick there. How do I check that stuff? I do not know. What I will probably do, and I'll just see if it's not working, then it's going to need some trans oil. But I'll figure out what kind of trans oil. Yeah, this is on point. Well, as you can see, I got the side panels back on, and I have inflated the tires. Put some slime in them. Hopefully that'll help the situation. And now, I really want to put a can of Berryman in there. Didn't realize I was out, so I had to run out and get some. It'll make it easy to get in these cans. There we go. Alright, got a can of Berryman in it. I see while I was at the parts store, my tires didn't notably leak down, so that's a step in the right direction. So I guess now the thing to do is put the ramps on the trailer. Well, I guess this is the moment of truth right here. Go see if the whole thing will fire up. Get off the trailer. Cold engine. Ooh. Alright. Ester, ignition, switch. Just tried. We just need to let it warm up a minute. Fuel pump. Do we have fuel pump issue again? I don't know, I'm a little concerned about this fuel pump. Alright, so diagnosis. Fuel pump has gone bad again. I thought I had it resuscitated yesterday by priming it and all, but evidently not. I let it run on its own for about 5 minutes last night, and it did cut off while I was in the garage, but I figured, and I left the choke pulled out, and after a few minutes I didn't need it anymore. I choked it. And I had other things I needed to do, such as change the oil, so I just said, alright, whatever. Well, as y'all saw, I tried to back it up, couldn't keep it running. So I got off, and I may have done this off camera, but I went in there and bottle fed it a little bit. It worked. So I'm going back to my plan yesterday, which is use this electric fuel pump that I got for another project. And it's made for 5/16, but yesterday when I was out, I got a fuel filter that adapts to either, and I got a brass fitting that goes between the two sizes, so not an issue. I've already got it plumbed in. Now I'm just drilling some holes to mount it. So hopefully in a few minutes we'll be mowing. So a while back I went to Harbor Freight and I got one of those bolt assortments. And I wasn't paying good attention. I got metric. I don't like just having metric bolts around, but since everything else on this is 10mm, I figured why not? Use some of those bolts, use some of them up. Alright, now just find a 10mm wrench, open end, tighten them down, then I gotta figure out the electrics. And we already know how much I like that. Alright, so here's what we're looking at here. Got an electric fuel pump, pumping down to that filter. Got a 1/4 to 3/8 in there. I managed to get 5/16 on that. The wires come down this way, and got the ground here, and this goes back and on the number 2 switch, I've got the thing tied in with a suitcase connector. So at long last, let's see what we got. I just wanted to see if that worked. And it does, so I'm going to go ahead and put the cover on. And then we're going to try to cut grass again. Alright, let's see if 59th time is a charm. So I've been around the yard and I've hit the stuff that's coming up. It's a little early in the season yet really to be mowing. But found a couple grease fittings. I think I'll clean them up, put a little grease in them. I got another thing I want to do real quick besides grease them up. Calling the previous owner, see if they answer.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, is Daddy running?
Yeah, listen to this. Oh yeah, it's been around. I've actually cut the grass off it.
And it works?
Oh yeah.
Well,
okay, so future me here butting in. I was editing this video and realized that there was a piece of footage missing, so I'm going to do my best to recreate it. Even though a lot of the stuff you can only really get once. But anyway, while I was out the other day, I came across a reupholstery kit for a John Deere seat. And by that I mean, yep, that's yellow duct tape. So anyway, took care of the splits in the seat with the duct tape. Ooh, looks like I might have missed one. And also, if you're wondering what this is, where the fuel level thing was, and it rusted out and I cut off, there's a little hole in there that's normally covered by the lens that goes over it. Well, just to keep dirt out till I can get an upper cap, I just stuck that piece of duct tape on it, so that's that. So there you go. Seat reupholstered. In all seriousness, this is temporary. I found on Marketplace a New Holland seat for $10. Nice New Holland seat. But it's a long drive away, so if I have a nice sunny afternoon to take one of my old rides out, I think I'll ride by and pick up that New Holland seat for this. So this is how we celebrate success here at Two Labs Garage. The John Deere 318, according to what I've looked up, it's a 1987, abandoned 20 years. We got back going, fixed the problems, and it has cut grass again successfully. I gotta thank my mother-in-law for giving me this project, and it also really helps when the previous owner can tell you why something was parked. Bottom line is, we got it to work, we got it running. It may or may not be exactly repaired right, but it is working, and it is fairly simple to operate. So if you would please go ahead and hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel. Got more content coming. Like I've said before, I'll take a revival pretty much any way I can get it. So I enjoyed doing this. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me be able to bring you more content, bringing old machines back to life. Take care of yourself, take care of your projects, take care of each other. God bless, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.